What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, home of the Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest. And today we're going to talk about Darlington in the Southern 500. All right, first race of the playoffs this year. Kyle Larson is the favorite, according to sports books. Martin Truex Jr., who absolutely dominated here in the first race of 2021 at Darlington, is consensus second favorite. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, the normal players expected to do well. As far as starting lineup this week, we have Ryan Blaney on the pole after his win at Daytona. Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman. Quite a few drivers actually starting, a little further back. Larson starting 6th, Martin Truex Jr. starting 10th, Kyle Busch 12th, William Byron 14th, Keselowski 16th. Even going further back than that, Chris Buescher's back in 34th, Cole Custer 31st, Matt DiBenedetto 30th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 29th. A lot of good, even Austin Dillon right here in 21st. A lot of good place differential plays this week in fantasy NASCAR. And it's going to be a very interesting race. So as far as Darlington goes, they raced here 3 times last year. Typically, before that, I think it was a 1 race a year kind of track, if I remember right. 3 races in 2020, and then it used to just be like a one race a year track. 2 races this year. First one was in May. As I said, Martin Truex Jr. dominated it. Kyle Larson second, Kyle Busch third. But the interesting thing with Darlington this year is NASCAR decided to go to the 750 horsepower package for this race, and it's been the 550 package in 2019 and 2020. So to get super comparative data as far as Darlington goes, we're basically just looking at May of this year and then all the way back to 2018. I think you can still take in 2019, 2020 data a little bit, but definitely not as relative because of the change in horsepower. Now, Darlington's also a high-wear racetrack. Other high-wear tracks that we've ran at this year would be Homestead back in, I think, February or early March, and then the 2 Atlanta races. Now, those were in the 550 horsepower packages, and they're a little bit bigger tracks than Darlington as well, so not super comparable. But there's a lot of data that we can look at. First, we're going to take a look at the first Darlington race, green flag speed. Eric Almirola had issues early, so you can kind of take that out of the equation. Martin Truex Jr. was a solid, almost full mile an hour faster than everybody else, including Kyle Larson in that first race. So basically it's Truex, Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Logano, top 5 in green flag speed. Kyle Busch, Blaney, Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick. There were a couple drivers that had issues in this race. For example, Christopher Bell was running top 5 at the end of the race, hit the wall, had to come in and pit. Joey Logano had a speeding penalty. That's why he ended up 13th. So definitely go back and take a look and rewatch that race. It's always very interesting I've said interesting a lot in this video already, but Darlington, a lot can change really quick. This track, the fastest way around it is up against the wall, and that means it's very easy to hit the wall, and that can derail someone's day. Like I said, Christopher Bell running top 5, he hit the wall, he had to pit, finished 14th. So I will note that the track this week, recently they repaved turn 2, and I don't think we fully know what to expect as far as how that's going to affect this weekend's race. You would think that it might make it a little bit more, it'll allow drivers to carry more speed through that turn, which could increase the chances of hitting the wall. But I think it's going to kind of favor the drivers that are a little less talented or a little that have this year been better under the low wear tracks compared to high wear. So like Kyle Larson, for example, hasn't been great on high wear tracks this year, except for the first Atlanta race. Other than that, he's kind of been kind of lackluster in as far as like the speed that we expect out of Kyle Larson at high wear tracks. So I think that could help Kyle Larson. Not that he needs it. We talked about Rotodoc and I talked about on the Stacking Denny's podcast this week that he thought it could help, Penske as a whole, especially Joey Logano. I agree with that. Chase Elliott, I think it can help. And a few other guys, maybe, Kyle Busch might hurt him a little bit. But then again, he's always strong on pretty much everywhere this year. I will note that Kyle Busch isn't great in the 750 horsepower package, though. Looking at that got a little off track there, but looking at average running position in that first Darlington race, Truex average running position of 1.5, just completely dominated it. Hamlin, Logano, Byron, Reddick were the top 5 in average running position. Then Larson, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Blaney, and Elliott. Larson, they didn't really get that car dialed in till late in the race, and that's when he got up there and finished second. He probably could have won it with how fast he was at the end if that race was 20 laps longer, 15, 20 laps longer. But it wasn't. He finished second. Martin Truex Jr. won it. So looking at so we'll take a look at 750 horsepower package this year, statistics. Kyle Larson, average finish, best average finish, right up there with Logano, 6.0 and 6.1. Got Byron at 7.3, Hamlin at 7.4. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Christopher Bell, all sub 10.0 as far as average finish. Going to average running position, Denny Hamlin's the best, 4.9 this year. We got Ryan Blaney at 7.8. Kevin Harvick, Logano, Byron, Larson, Elliott, Truex. You'll notice a lot of these guys, it's the same. That if typically what we've seen with this 750 horsepower package is not a lot of guys have issues, especially the front runners, so they finish where they start and where they run all day. Looking at the high wear tracks this year, again, at 2 Atlanta races, Homestead and the first Darlington race, best average finish, Martin Truex Jr. at 4.0. Kyle Busch at 5.0, Kyle Larson 6.5, Kevin Harvick 8.0, Byron Bowman all strong as well, Ryan Blaney 10.8. Average running position, Kyle Larson 5.4, Truex 6.7, William Byron 7.5, got Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Bowman, and Blaney all sub 10.0 when it comes to average running position this year. You'll notice Joey Logano 11.4, Kevin Harvick, 12.9. Brad Keselowski, 14.8. Christopher Bell. That's another guy I think that repaved turn 2 could help is Christopher Bell. He's not great on high wear tracks. He's down there at 15.8. Another guy to notice is Chris Buescher. He's been very strong. Him and Ryan Newman have both been very strong on the high wear tracks this year. So definitely someone to keep an eye on this weekend. Let's go ahead and algorithm predicted finishing order. Kyle Larson, number 1. Should be no surprise there. Martin Truex Jr., probably not a surprise for anybody either. It's got Kevin Harvick ranked 3, Denny Hamlin 4th, Chase Elliott 5th. I would probably put Denny Hamlin 3rd. They're right there, very close together. I don't think Harvick's a top 3 car, but I do think he has strong top 5 possibilities. But those two are very close in the power index. It's got Kyle Busch ranked 6th. I mentioned in the article itself that I think Kyle Busch is a little undervalued this week by the algorithm. I think he should be a top 5, top 3 car, but definitely struggles in the 750 horsepower package. Byron, Bowman, Logano, Blaney rounding out the top 10, and then Reddick, Bell, Keselowski, top 13. Remember, this is a playoff race. We got our 16 playoff drivers. And those guys always have an extra 50 horsepower or so in the car. I'm making a joke, but that seems to be the case. When the playoffs start, it's not uncommon to see all 16 or all 12 or all 8 running in the top 16, the top 12, and top 8. These teams turn things up a notch when stakes get high like this. And you got to think the guys outside of the playoffs don't want to ruin a playoff contender's season by making a mistake. So they kind of are a little bit more lenient maybe in getting out of the way, especially in that final, Phoenix race. That race has become sort of a joke with how non-championship drivers race it. There's really, it's, I understand why it happens, but anyway, so keep that in mind. The playoff driver should be strong. Don't expect a non-playoff driver to win this race, but anything can happen. It's just not very likely. Taking a look at the Slingshot driver salaries this week, you can go a lot of ways with lineups this week. You can take a more centered approach, I think, or you can get the heavy hitters up front. There's solid options all around on what you want to do. Let's start down in the lower tiers and maybe the mid to lower tiers, because I don't think you need to dig super deep this week when it comes to, the last spot in your lineup. I don't think it's a bad idea to consider Eric Jones this week. He starts 22nd. He's $7,000, which is a great price. He's really good at Darlington. Finished 18th earlier this year in his first race with the Richard Petty Motorsports. Obviously, we're not going to really compare his time with Furniture Row and Joe Gibbs to the ride he's in now, but still, an 18th place finish for that Richard Petty car is a good race, and Eric Jones definitely has top 20 potential again this weekend. I'm just going to pull up, for quick reference, the other high-wear tracks. Actually, let's do that. Pull up Homestead, the first Atlanta race, and the second Atlanta race, just to have as a reference. Like I said, they're not super comparable to Darlington, but definitely, you can get a good idea of which drivers are better at conserving their tires at these high wear tracks. That's a big key to having speed at the end of a run, is conserving your tires and being able to do that. So Eric Jones, I think, is a decent play. Chase Briscoe, he finished 11th here last time. I really like how Chase Briscoe is running lately as well. I feel like that team has definitely turned things up a little bit. Now, obviously, we had quite a few road courses there that are definitely Briscoe's strength, but he finished 11th at Michigan. He finished 15th at Atlanta. That's good for that team this year. Homestead, he finished 18th, and the first Atlanta race, he finished 23rd, which, yeah, it's Atlanta. But, I think Briscoe's on the table starting 24th. Cole Custer, I don't think he has as much upside as Briscoe and Jones. Daniel Suarez, that team is just struggling right now, and I don't like that. He always has potential. He finished 23rd here last time. He's been about a 20s driver even in you can't really. 11th with Stuart Haas in 2019. Not good in his first two starts with Joe Gibbs. Obviously, I think Suarez has the potential to move up from 26th, but I don't think it's a slam dunk pick in this Slingshot contest. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's probably going to be about a 20th place car. I think that's where the algorithm has him, is 25th, actually. I think he has top 20 upside, but again, not a slam dunk play. One guy, like I said before, is Chris Buescher, starting 34th. I think he can definitely have another good race here this weekend. So Buescher finished 9th in the first race at Darlington. He really struggled last year. I'm not sure why, but before that, 4 straight finishes of 17th or better at Darlington. That's even in a front row car. Again, 9th earlier this year. The only concern with Buescher would be, so if you remember back to Homestead, he had one of the best cars at Homestead early in the race until the sun went down. He won the first stage, finished sixth in the second stage, led 57 laps. Like, Buescher had a really good car that race. He finished 19th because the car just fell off at night. This race at Darlington on Sunday is going to end at night. So if that team still isn't able to adjust and keep up with the track as the sun goes down, it could be a concern for Buescher, but his upside starting 34th is just massive. Going back to Atlanta, he finished 7th. In the second Atlanta race, Buescher finished 16th. So definitely think Chris Buescher has solid top 20 upside. I really like him starting 34th. Matt DiBenedetto, another decent option. That team also running pretty well lately. 2 top 10s here at Darlington in the last 5 races, 14th, 19th, 21st. And then looking at Atlanta, he was 11th. And Atlanta 2, he was 9th. And at Homestead, that's when he got in that wreck, I think, with... Did he get pushed in the wall, or did he push someone in the wall, like Blaney or something? I think. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah. So I like the strategy this week of going a more central approach, like I said. So let's go ahead. Let's throw on Austin Dillon here, and I'll show you why. He's actually really good at Darlington. Finished second last year, 16th this year, which was kind of lackluster, but look at this. 2017, 4th, 2018, 16th, 2019, 10th, 2020, 11th. Again, these 2019 and 2020 races don't compare super well, but at the same time, he finished 4th in 2017. He finished 16th, 12th, 11th. Austin Dillon is not bad at this racetrack. Looking at the high wear tracks this year, he finished 12th at Homestead. He finished 6th at Atlanta, and he finished 12th at Atlanta 2. Austin Dillon is a strong pick this week. At $8,800, that's a great value for someone like Austin Dillon. So let's throw Austin Dillon on there. Let's keep him there. I like the price on William Byron starting 14th. I think he has top 5 upside, definitely top 10 upside. So let's go Byron there. The question is whether you want to... Obviously, Larson's the favorite to win this race. He could easily win both stages. He could get a ton of points. He has a little bit of place differential there, starting 6th. I don't mind going Larson, but with Truex starting 10th, I kind of like the price difference there. Taking the $500 discount, going down to Truex, grabbing him. If you do that with Byron and Dillon, that leaves you $18,000 to play with. Now, if you throw on an Eric Jones, that gets you to $11,000 to go with maybe a Logano starting 11th. Like I said, Logano's kind of like a wild card this week. He definitely has upside, but he doesn't have awesome upside. Finished 13th earlier this year. Like I said, he had a speeding penalty, though. Has been really solid in the 750 package. So you have to like that about Logano this year and this week. So I don't mind a lineup like this, going Truex, Byron, Logano, Dillon, Eric Jones. I think you can also, maybe go Kyle Busch, Byron, Logano, Dillon, Eric, or Chase Briscoe. Maybe do something like that if you want to get Briscoe on there. But if you don't want to go, the Joey Logano route, why not Christopher Bell? So Christopher Bell's $9,500. Like I said, he was running top 5 the last time here, and hit the wall and had to pit. If he can run top 5 again this weekend, obviously it's going to be a great value play there with him at $9,500. So now you got top 5 potential with. Let's take Kyle Busch off here. Let's go Byron, who has top 5 potential, Bell, who has definite top 10 and maybe top 5 potential, and Austin Dillon that could sneak into top 10 as well. You still have $20,500 left to play with. If you want to grab a Chris Buescher, all of a sudden you can still get Truex in this lineup. You can go Truex, Byron, Bell, Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher. So great place differential upside with Buescher. Like we said, with Austin Dillon, Bell, Byron. and you have Truex who can win this race. So I think this is a very solid lineup. I think this is a safe lineup to go with. It doesn't get you up there. You don't have the cap to get Kyle Larson here, which, obviously is, if you wanted to do that, if you needed to get Larson in your lineup, if you really wanted him, I would honestly probably do something like this. I'd take Buescher off. Maybe, like, the place differential is just so enticing when it comes to Chris Buescher. But maybe take Byron off, and then I'd go with two guys that could definitely win this race and go Larson, Truex. You can get Briscoe then. So Larson, Truex, Bell, Dillon, Briscoe. I think that's a pretty solid lineup to roll with. There's really no way you could go Larson, Logano, Buescher, Bell, Dillon with this kind of build. Don't really Logano. I'm just not sold on Logano. It's tough. I'd rather go the Truex, and with a lineup like this, I'd rather go Truex, Harvick. Truex and Harvick can both finish top 5. Maybe Bell can. I'd rather maybe do that than go with Larson, Logano. I wish there was enough cap to go Lagarson, Byron, Bell, Dillon, Buescher, but there's just not. And Chastain, yes, he starts 23rd. We don't really have a ton of great data on him at Darlington specifically. Let's see what he did earlier this year. Chastain was 15th earlier this year. That was the race that he had that really dumb pit and gamble. So 14th at Atlanta. Homestead, Chastain was 17th. 21st at Atlanta too. How's he doing in the 750 horsepower package? Chastain has an average finish of 13th in the 750 horsepower. So that's not awful. Jumping down, that's another possible option. If you wanted to go like a Bell, Dillon, mid-range like that, going Larson, Byron, Bell, Dillon, Chastain. And then you can always take Bell or Dillon off and come down here and grab Buescher, and that could leave you enough to go. What if you went like this? So you go Larson, Kyle Busch, Bell, Buescher, Chastain. I don't hate that either. I still like going, Truex, Kyle Busch, or Truex, Byron. I think Byron's a very good value this week at 11,200 for sure. And then you don't have to have two of these, guys that probably aren't going to finish in the top 10. Which I think you can easily fit 4 guys in your lineup this week that have top 10 potential, which is obviously something that we're targeting this week. So definitely think that's on the table. A lineup like this, I really like stacking Bell and Austin Dillon and then kind of building from there and choosing the drivers that way. So I think that's going to wrap it up this week. Good luck at Darlington. It's a Sunday night race. It's going to be a late one. And then we're going to be over to Richmond for race number 2 of the first round, and that's going to be Saturday night race. And then we're going to have another Saturday night race at Bristol the week after. So several night races in a row, starting with Darlington and kicking off these playoffs this weekend with the Southern 500 at Darlington Sunday night of Labor Day weekend. Good luck. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens. Darlington's always very good racing. We saw last year, if you remember, if you go and watch last year's Southern 500, that's the one that Truex and Elliott were racing for the lead at the end and wrecked each other and wiped out a ton of fantasy lineups with just a simple mistake. So good luck this weekend, and see you next week.